Shabbat Shalom. Now this first question may date me a little, but we'll see. I recently came across on the computer scans that you can find online of the old page of ads that you used to find in comic books. You remember opening up the comic books and in between Spider-Man or wherever else, there was a whole page of all the neat things you could buy through the mail order system. Right? Remember this vaguely? Remember some of the things that were there? X-ray glasses. Everybody remembers the X-ray glasses, and we all. Exactly, all the novels. They weren't silly, they were magical. Draw Binky, and you too could be an artist. Exactly. Do you remember the Charles Atlas ads, right? You know, with the power of muscles, working against muscles, and the little picture of the weedy kid turning into the bulky guy on the beach. What's that? Chia pets came later. What was the earlier form of pets? Sea monkeys. The sea monkeys, exactly right. You could get a live animal through the mail. You just stuck it in an envelope and hope for the best. And how long would it take you for that envelope to get to you? What did it always say? 6 to 8 weeks. I mean, it's like, Misinai. It's from Torah. 6 to 8 weeks for delivery. And if you ever ordered anything like that, if you ever, through the comic systems or any of the other orders that were a bit more legitimate back in the day, and you were waiting those 6 to 8 weeks, they were so long. They took forever. I mean, you just dream. What was it going to be like? What was it going to be like? Would it be good? Would it be bad? This was a rip-off. This was a scam. You would dream and wonder and hope, and you would go up and down this whole emotional roller coaster because you had almost 2 months of anticipation. And now, if you want to order something, how long does it take to get to your house? Yeah, overnight. Well, you people are living in the Stone Age. Don't you realize that in Tampa area, Orlando, Amazon is now providing same-day delivery. Same-day delivery. And they're working on drone delivery for the rest of us to be able to fly it to your door. And already in the Orlando area, and no, I don't have stock in Amazon, but already in the Orlando area, you can often get Sunday delivery from Amazon. Right? You don't even have to wait for business days anymore. They will find somebody to get it to your door. And if you're an Amazon Prime member, that means you're getting it like that constantly. At most 2 days for most deliveries. And now 2 days seems like 6 to 8 weeks. But are we happier? Right? Was that the problem with our life? That we didn't get things quickly enough? That 6 to 8 weeks was too long, and if only we could shorten that shipping cycle, then we would be happy. Right? Because that was the problem, was the shipping time. No? No, I don't see a lot of agreement here that we're all so much happier with overnight or same-day delivery. Well, why not? Well, I mean, if what we want, we know, and what we want is delayed from us, then keeping it, or then speeding up our ability to get what we want should be the obvious solution for our happiness.
So many times, especially for those types of things, the anticipation was more enjoyment, and it gave you more happiness than the actual item.
You mean sea monkeys weren't exactly the most amazing thing once you put them in a tank of water? But imagining them building underwater cities, 6 to 8 weeks of joy, and then there were about 2 days of absolute disappointment, and then you would flush it down the toilet. What's that? You loved your sea monkeys. You named each and every one of them, right? Absolutely. But for the rest of us, let's say the X-ray glasses, so we'll take it away from the living creatures, because sea monkeys are living creatures, bizarrely enough. They're just not actually sea monkeys. The X-ray glasses, we imagine being able to see through things happily for 6 to 8 weeks, and when we got them and realized that it wasn't actually going to give us X-ray glasses, now all we had was disappointment. But there's another issue, not just the anticipation, although that is a huge part of it, of why we don't feel gratified just because it's instant now, which is that really what will make us happy? Now, if the X-ray glasses really, really worked, if the sea monkeys really, really built underwater cities, If Charles Atlas really, really worked, although that kind of sort of did, but if it really worked the way it looked like, overnight you were going to bulk up and then you could be the bully, would we be happier? Would we have been happy if they had worked as we had imagined them working? Well, maybe in the X-ray classes I'm getting some people who look, for a short time maybe, we certainly might have enjoyed the experience. But there's a difference between enjoying the experience and being happy. We're going to be studying a little bit about business ethics for the nutshell classes this week and next week. And one of the topics that we're eventually going to cover is price setting. But I'll give you a little bit of a preview. Rambam says, look at the wonder of the world, of how God designed it. That which we need most is most abundant. And that which we need least is most rare. What do we need most? What can we go with what can we go the shortest time without before we expire? Air, right? And unless you're living on the space station, air is pretty plentiful. In fact, none of us, for most of our life, I hope, have ever had to pay for air. Correct? Right? The most absolutely essential thing ever, and it is the most abundant and free resource that we all have. What is the second necessity of life? Water, right? And water, I'm not talking about the bottled stuff that you're paying through the nose for from Avion or wherever. I'm talking about water that's good enough to keep you alive. Expensive? No, really. It's certainly not in Florida. Maybe if you live in California right now, that might be a different answer. But certainly here in Florida and most of the developed world, clean water is very, very cheap. It is certainly cheaper than the next thing that we need most. Food. Right? On average, water is much, much cheaper than food. But even food, and I'm not talking gourmet, I'm talking about enough food to keep a person alive per day and more or less satisfied. Not a big food bill. I mean, you can choose to have very expensive food every day. But if you just need to put calories in your body and have the nutrients and minerals that you need to survive, this is not a huge food bill. True? Same when we come to clothing, right? You can buy Gucci if you like, but you don't have to. You can do just fine with many, many cheaper brands that will keep you warm and keep you covered from the elements. Housing, right? Shelter. Again, not as expensive as we often make it out to be. Certainly we may want a more comfortable house, but a basic place to keep us safe from the elements, not that expensive. Again, outside of certain city centers, but we're choosing to live in those city centers. We're not being forced to. Warmth, not a big issue. The basic necessities of life are not that expensive. And most of us in this room, judging by the fact that you mostly look fed and clothed, are being met. So are we happy then? We've got what we need. No, because we've missed one thing on this hierarchy. We've missed one thing on this hierarchy of what is most necessary is most abundant, what is least necessary is most rare. There's one thing even more abundant than air that is even more absolutely essential. Spirituality. Exactly. Or we can put it with the big capital G, God. Right? Because without our spirit, we would be dead in an instant. You can hold your breath for a little bit of time, as anybody who's gone diving knows. But if your spirit were removed, or if that spark of the divine was pulled from your body for even an instant, you are gone. You are gone. And yet that is the most freely given gift of all. We don't even have to use our lungs to pull it in. It's simply been granted to us as a gift every single moment of our life. There as a constant, and even when our physical body is done and can no longer maintain its operations, that gift continues forever. And yet maybe because it is so common, just like air or water or even food for many of us, we take it for granted. We don't recognize the gift that it is, and we don't savor it. And we don't allow it to enrich us, to fulfill us the way that it is meant to. One of the first steps you learn when you are practicing mindfulness or meditation or good practice for tefillah is how to breathe. Because the breath has always been considered to be the gateway to our touching, our feeling, our connection to the neshama, to the soul, to the ruach, to the wind that is within us. It was the first gift, the first metaphor of the gift to Adam Rishon, the first man, the first person there made out of dirt. And that's not a coincidental metaphor. When we talk and when we focus upon breathing, what we are really trying to say is grab the most intangible yet essential as your rope that will pull you towards what is even less tangible but more essential, towards your sense of spirit, your sense of self, this glowing ember within you. When we're not happy with what we've purchased online, maybe because it's shoddy merchandise, maybe because the anticipation was sweeter than the realization, but quite likely it's because we think that we are going to be fulfilled with the next product, or the next vacation, or the newer, bigger house, or the next model of car, having a nicer handbag, whatever it might be. We think that there is something out there that if only it could come to us, and even faster, we would then be happy. And it doesn't work that way. It starts in our neshama, in our spirit, in our soul, and it fills us, and then we can certainly enjoy the other good things in life that God has granted to us. But if you're looking for that fulfillment, that fix from outside, you might as well wait 6 to 8 weeks, because overnight is still not going to make you happy. Shabbat Shalom. As we continue